was pregnant in the field. I worked my entire pregnancy. I got fed.
What?
I would take 30-minute naps in the middle of the day. I would run the first part of my day, take a 30-minute nap, and then be in the field in the evening.
Yo, I'm clipping that part and I'm sending it to everyone whoever says they can't
That's so
figure it
funny.
out. What up, y'all? John Wetmore back with our next episode of the Insurance Insiders podcast. Got a friend here, Karyn Giles, KG, boss in the insurance space, sells a bunch of insurance, building our brand, building our agency. Appreciate you coming on and sharing it.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love for you to kind of share. Let's start here. I've learned if I start with something dope, they'll hang out longer.
Oh yeah.
So when I say sell a bunch of insurance, give a little clarity on like kind of where you're at sales wise, team wise, high level, and then we're gonna go backwards and get there. But just give them a little taste of what we're gonna talk about today.
I do about 25 to 40 because I'm building. So I hover around that area personally, 1,000. And then the highest team we've done is 176. So we average about 100.
Yeah.
125
to 40K personal production.
Yeah.
So you're making some money.
Yeah.
100K, 150K team wise. Life is good.
Yeah.
Can see in the back. I've seen some backgrounds. You can tell you got a few bucks. Life is good.
And actually, well, it's a condo. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, life
I'm
is
there,
good.
like I'm always trying not to be here if I'm not selling. Yeah. So
cool. Well, we'll get into it. We're gonna get into some sales stuff, some script stuff. She's good at like marketing herself and branding stuff. She left. We had a workshop last week. A lot of y'all probably saw, and like she put out content about my workshop before I put out content about my workshop. I was like, hot damn.
Yes, major impact. I'm like, everybody has to know about this. Effort and get paid. Yes.
There you go. I love it. Why do you feel that? We haven't even talked since. We talked later, obviously, but we haven't talked a ton.
I know. It was just how simple because sometimes I can complicate things within myself or the systems that I'm running or what I'm doing. And I'm learning to be better at making changes because you can tell me to do something and I'll run it and do it until I run it into the ground. And it's like, no, Karyn, like life changes, seasons change. Like sometimes you got to pivot and make those changes. Even when it came to spending more money on leads. Not until one day I woke up and just was like, I had to just do it and get through that small little pain of spending more money that I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? So we're getting better at that.
I love that. I know you're already coming to the next one for those June. I think it's in June.
Filled it out right then and there.
First week of June.
Take it out the account.
JohnWetmore.com/workshop. Y'all want to check it out. She'll be here. So hang tight. You'll get to hang out with both of us. And we have it. Well, this one will sell out for sure. I mean, the last one sold out and we were just figuring it out. So we're already getting a bunch of people in. But let's talk more about you. I want to get into a little bit. We were talking offline for like 30 seconds about your background, but how the hell what's the journey here? Give as much as you want. You pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you take control here.
Yeah. So I am a mother. I have a 9-year-old, just me and my awesome son. But before that, I was captain of every team that you can think of: cheerleading, track, palms, any organization.
Really?
I wanted, even in elementary school, I was the head president of the little, what is it called? The little government
cool kids club.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, I love
it. And I would always try to be the first to do everything. So that was just always me.
So not shy at all.
No, I've been on stage since I was 2. Yeah, performing arts, everything like that. Because that's what I thought I was going to do. I was going to be in entertainment. That's what I thought.
No way.
Yeah. So in college, I was the captain of cheerleading squad. I also took over 18 credits, and I worked 2 jobs. I would bartend, for the college students 2 days a week, and then drive 3 hours every weekend from Eastern Shore back to this side and bartend on the weekends, and did that. And I had all my own stuff because I was independent and I wanted my own money. And graduated college and thought I was gonna, work for I don't know. I thought I was gonna work for a news production team. I don't know I didn't know what I wanted to do, basically. Anyway, the only background that I had was bartending. So that's what I did. And I made more money than people that I knew bartending. So I had 5 jobs because I thought hard work equaled success. And I was just going to randomly find someone that came to my bar and said, oh, I like her. She's great. Let me put you on TV. And no, that never happened. So I was working 2 to 3 jobs, 7 days a week. I was a cook, bartender, manager, ran clubs, opened up restaurants. I did everything. And I would travel and do it.
Dang.
Yeah. So
I
then
didn't know all that.
Huh?
I didn't know all that.
Well, in bartending, not every day you have a fast-paced day. So what I would do is pick up all the fast-paced shifts and choose my days with those particular jobs. And that's how I met my quota.
Got it.
Yeah, I had a little system going on.
I like it.
And I would take naps in between my shifts. And it was weird. Like, I didn't have any children. I'm like, why was I working so hard? But I like traveling and having fun. So
that's dope.
That was that. But anyway, I got invited to a meeting with the practice company. I got invited 4 times by 4 different people.
No way.
Yeah. And so came
from the bars or friends or random, or you applying to stuff or what?
2 people I didn't know who they were. Some girl went to a guy's house, and in the practice company you don't have leads, so you have to get referrals. And so
got it.
Literally, who was my upline at the time, she literally just wanted to do a movie night just to get a list of names and numbers.
No way.
And my name was at the end of the list, and it was Karyn. Hey, you got to call her. So then after a while, because I wanted something different and I knew I couldn't do that forever, I wanted something different. When I actually got into the interview meeting session, which is, the group video thing, I was like, oh, they got me, but I have nothing else to do. So let me just stay here. And then I get a text message like, hey, our office is expanding. We're looking for more people, or our vice president is looking for more people who want to make more money part-time or full-time if the money was right. Are you interested? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, I was like, well, what company? And then she told me, and I was like, well, I'm sitting here for an interview. It's funny that you said that because I'm sitting here. So, but I didn't know each office was different. I didn't know how everything worked. So I was like, cool. I'll get a chance to meet you. Yeah, I'm in here now. I'm all set up. So I was the only one that stayed. I left over 400 names and numbers. I got it done.
When was that?
That was in 2012.
Okay, so you've been in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I did
That's
everything.
When I started.
Yeah, I know.
That's when I started selling. I got licensed 2 years prior, but I started selling.
That's when you really started going in.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to sell. I just knew how to really build. So I was recruiting like crazy, and I traveled. I did all the stuff. And
so before you were selling, you were building.
I quit. Well, no. Let me stop there. So it took me 3 months to get licensed. I took my test 7 times. 3 times I got the same score, and I was like, yo, I feel stupid because I went to college. How can I not pass this test? I'm not a test taker at all. No. So
that's terrible.
It was horrible. I felt pretty crazy, but
what made you keep doing it?
I don't know. It was hard. It was a challenge. Yeah. And I just wanted to be somebody so bad. I was like, maybe I think I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
For 4 people to refer me. Then I was set up to go work with my cousin to work at AT&T. That somehow the lady who I was already set up and hired, the lady who was supposed to be my last interview said she called me and I was belligerent and all this stuff, which never happened. So my cousin called me like, hey, I put you onto this. Why would you? And I was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't even get a phone call. Sure enough, I was in the hallway of the practice company. And I'm like, well, if I'm not going to get hired there, then I might as well just do this. Yeah. Because I was really about to be a manager at AT&T, which I wouldn't have been happy with.
Crazy.
So I'm like, I felt like I was supposed to be here, but I knew very early on, successful people went through things. Yeah. And so I was like, I know this is not going to be easy. I know I'm probably going to have to be the person to go through all of this. So whoever has to go through that same process, they don't have to. I can just coach them through it.
Got it. Did you grow up like that? Like that was the thing? Your family that way, parent, whatever? Like or that you just were given that?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I think I was born that way.
Yeah, some are. Yeah, and
Yeah.
some are like watch their family do it, and some are like, yeah, and some watch their family does it, and then they're bums. So you get all variations. I was just shit curious. Dig it. Okay. So then how when you finally got in, let's get there. Was it great? Did you suck? Did you?
I was VIP my first event.
What's that mean?
Like you're sitting front row, you get all the like VIP.
Because you sold so much.
Well, not really. So I sold, okay. I was a builder, but I sold a little bit. And so
it's one of those companies that highlight you for the other stuff.
Right.
Not the making money stuff.
Right. Okay. You get more awards than you do paychecks. Yeah. So, but I was just being coachable. It's like, hey, the sales will come.
It works for that company. How about that?
Yeah, because when you have 1,000 people selling one policy and you override, okay, great. But to the person who doesn't have 1,000 people that's trying to sell one policy, there's no money. Which I'm recruiting like 60 direct people like a month, holding records for building with, and the only people that were my sales were my recruits.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So how long did you bang your head against the wall?
6 years too long. So you see what I'm talking about? Where I stay somewhere too. I'm
got it.
I'm learning to make the changes.
So that like head down, stubborn, I'm gonna make it happen thing can slow you down sometimes too.
John, my dad, I have a video that one day I will show. My dad, he was drinking like crazy and he begged me. He was like, it's a scam. It'll never work. I'm begging you to leave and get a job. I'm begging you. He begged me. Everyone did. I would come home after like being in the field. I'd come home at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my family would, some of my family members would call my mom, and they're just like, she should just go get a job.
Yeah.
Like, why won't she use her degree? It was bad. I just wouldn't listen.
Crazy. It's funny. I was listening to someone. I'm trying to think who it was. I feel like it was Alex Ramosi the other day, and he was like, you think one day you're going to figure something out, business out, and you're on stage somewhere accepting an award, and you get to go like, man, thank my family for always supporting me, da-da-da. And he's like, I can't say that. Yeah. A lot of people. That happens a lot.
Well, the cool part is, because I made those changes, and we're here.
Yeah.
I think I lost probably about 6 family members. My grandmother was the first. My dad was the last. And the one thing I can say is they said they were proud of me before they passed away.
That's dope.
Yeah. And I've been able to do some things for them before they passed. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Pretty cool.
What's the favorite thing you've been able to do for someone?
Well, for my dad, I was able to buy him first of all, to make a long story short, he would call me all the time, like, you don't ever call me. You don't ever. And I'm like, I just talked to you yesterday. Are we talking about dad number 1 and dad number 2? So he loves golf, like loves golf.
Okay.
Eats, breathes, sleeps it. I bought him a Ping golf club set.
Okay.
And had it customized.
Heck yeah.
Grips and all that. Had it flown out to California, got it grips, got all his customizations. And I would never hear from him. And I'm like, why don't you call me? And he's like, I don't know. I was on the golf course. And that cured that situation. So
that's funny. I love it.
He enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you figure out how to start making money? Let's teach them that.
When I came here.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody knows Kali. What happened was I lost. They took everything from me, team, everything. And then I thought I would start over in another office. And it wasn't going off. It wasn't taking off at all. And so my heart just kind of left insurance. And when that happens, it's like, cutting the cord, you know what I mean? Or pulling the life support. I was like, I can't believe 6 years of just beating the streets up. Sun up to sun down, and everything that I work for is gone. So I went back to bartending because they were about to take my car, and I was like,
"What year was this? Like 2018-ish, something like that?"
2020.
2020. Okay.
Yep. So I think February, yeah. So so yeah, I'm bartending at because I used to run Asian bistros, and they don't hire everyone unless you know what you're doing, and I know everything in an Asian bistro, so they hired me right on the spot, and I was working there probably for about a good few months, and Kali reached out to me, and she was like, "I know you didn't go back to bartending," and I was like, "I'm done with insurance." I did, and she was like, "I've been telling you about coming to work with me." She was like, you should just come over.
So you knew her already, friends,
Yeah,
whatever, circle, whatever.
because I was running an office in the last company, and so she was going through it with her office in Baltimore, and drove from Baltimore to Maryland I would sneak her in our office.
Got it.
Yeah,
So y'all worked together before.
The friendship.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, so I was bartending. She was like, "Come over." I think it took me like a month to get contracted, but I was still like, wasn't sure about it.
Sure.
Then COVID happened. I walked in the door one day, heard the news on live, and they shut all the bars down. And I was like,
oh, snap.
Whoa. So I can't do what I did before. I can't bartend. Everything's shut down. All right. So I made Panera Bread in my office.
Really?
And I did. That's where I would go when I would get kicked out of my other office in the practice company. They would kick me out every other week because I was just trying to do right by people, and some things they just didn't want to do right. But anyway, made Panera Bread in my office, and I was broke. I took, I think I had like $1 and some change in my bank account, and I'm one of those that figure it out. So and you probably can't even do this anymore. I went to the Shell gas station. I overdrafted my car $20 just to fill my gas tank up.
Yeah.
And I drove 30 minutes to go see where Kali was. And at that time, if you ever heard her story, she was in the blue room. That's another story. She was in the blue room. So I drove 30 minutes to go see her in the field, 10 appointments, closed one person that had HIV, but we didn't know. So that kicked back. But when I saw her at the table, I was just like, this is all you do? Like, people know why you're coming? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, and if you know you're not going to close, like, because when I came into one of the houses, the lady had like 30 oxygen tanks set up.
Yeah.
And she was like, I need to think about it. And Kali was like, you need to think about insurance, and you're smoking, and you got 30 oxygen, like, blow up right now.
Yeah.
And so she was like, yeah, I just want to think about it. But at the time that she was saying all this, I'm pulling out my notebook. I'm like ready to write notes. And she's like, nope, let's go. And I was like, you don't even want to try to save it. She's like, Karyn, let's go. And I was like, all right. I didn't know we could leave this fast. Like,
that's funny. I love it. So yeah.
When I saw that, it gave me confidence that I was like, oh, I can do this. Because I went from doing 30-minute presentations to an hour.
Yeah.
And
you had to follow this crazy process. Yeah, I get it. Yep. Well, here it's like, it's not like there ain't a process in what you do, but you're independent. You do what you want. You want to sit with a client, sit with them. You don't.
John, I was bringing my baby to appointments.
Yeah.
I would show up and be like, hey, the babysitter canceled on me at the last minute. I knew how important this was for your family. Shoes on or off.
Yeah.
My baby's cool. As long as he has his toy, bottle.
How
got about 10 to 15 minutes. They're like, yeah, bring the baby. Even when I was pregnant in the field, I worked my entire pregnancy. I got fed.
Whoa.
Yes. I would take 30-minute naps in the middle of the day. I would run the first part of my day, take a 30-minute nap, and then be in the field in the evening.
Yo, I'm clipping that part and I'm sending it to everyone whoever says they can't figure it out. I never heard that one before. I talked to a lot of people.
And I was in the hood.
Yeah, that's true.
Hood.
Yeah, that's true.
But we did it. We're here.
Get effing paid.
Get effing paid.
Get effing paid.
Get effing paid.
What up, guys? If you guys are looking to get to a new level in your career, you may have seen that we've been running some workshops in my office in Atlanta. I have them every quarter now. The last one sold out fully. It was a massive success. A couple different levels. You can attend just a general ticket, get you in the door, listen to 2 days of training, interactive, workshop style. We really dive into what you got going on and how to get to new levels. If you're looking to be in a new crowd, higher level up. I have a private mastermind. Last one was at my house. It was insane. All the value that everybody added to each other, and we had a good time. And I heard it was way underpriced relative to what people got out of it. You can check out some of the testimonials here, I'm sure. But if you'd like to attend, click the link below. I do them every quarter. The date will be around here somewhere. Look forward to seeing you there.
If you are in the insurance industry and you're looking to scale and grow your business, I highly encourage you to check John Wetmore out.
Probably honestly made the cost of the event back in like the first 2 hours of being here.
If you want to win and you want to grow, I'd get around John as much as you can.
John Wetmore is a beast.
So much value in everything that I've learned here.
Growing, about building, delegating. He's talking about systems and automating right now.
It is worth the price of admission.
Make sure you get to the next one.
So you start selling right away? Did you figure it out? Was there
No,
was
I
that
struggled.
like?
No,
Yeah.
like I definitely gave colleagues some pushback because I came from the insurance. And sometimes when you come from the industry already,
Sure. Yeah.
you think you know it all, or you think you have an idea that you know it all. And so like, I just knew the people that told me, hey, come back tomorrow. Hey, come back next week. I just knew I was going to close them. And one lady, I'll never forget, I was on her, this was my 4th time at her house, John, 4th time. I made a front and not a sale. And Kali was like, do you see what I'm talking about? And I was like, I'm listening to you from now on.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. So then my first month, I made like $5,000. Second month, I made $8,000. Third month, I made 16. And I was like, oh, whoa.
Something's here.
Never seen this much money in my bank account. Everybody has to know about this. But I was still in the other company. And I wanted to be able to promote what we did. So I like sent an email. I called. I was like, I need you guys to terminate me. Take my contract ASAP because I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm gone. I found where I need to be.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So
I love it. What did you learn that you were doing wrong at the beginning? You said you weren't besides the making a friend thing. Like, are there other big things now that looking back, you're like, oh, granted, I think all those mess ups teach us stuff, so they're super valuable.
I've had a lot of mess ups.
Yeah, buddy.
You know,
Same. I feel that pain.
One, paying attention to my business in the back office.
Yeah.
That was one. But I've always been good with money. So I've always knew that I needed to put money to the side.
Yep.
I did that, with the few pennies that I would make in the last company. So it prepped me for this. But also sales, like learning how to sell. And I would drive, keep in mind, this is in the beginning with no money. Kali and I were driving to Jamie and Frank's office that were an hour and 20 minutes. Probably was longer for her because she was further down the road than I was. But an hour and 20 minutes just to the office. I don't know if we were doing it 1 or 2 times, maybe 3 times. I can't remember, but I know I would try to get to the office as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I would be sitting there, and it's not like how we have it now where we're on Zoom and it's just, you can hop out of bed and come to your desk.
Yeah.
But it was uncomfortable because I would have to sit there, and I didn't think Jamie was here, like listening to me. And I would say something. She's like, nope, hey, do it that way. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And then, but because I was good at booking interviews, cold and referrals in the practice company, I would book probably about 15 to 30 a day. I knew the numbers early on prior to coming that this is how my sales book needed to be. I still have all my sales book. I would have 10 to 15 appointments every run day. And I would book every hour. And then I would book every hour. Then I would book between like 10 and 12. Then I would book between 12 and 1. And then I would have a third appointment for an emergency just in case. So I always had somebody to go to.
Yeah. I love running that schedule. When I figured that out, I was like, for me, what I learned in that stage in which you were doing, and I don't know if you ever thought of it the way I did, but I was like, most agents book their appointments like everyone's going to be there. And I'm like, I'm booking like they ain't going to be there.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
Changed my whole world.
Yeah. And I had to learn because, when I was only booking 7 to 8 appointments, it would be times where I would be sitting in my car and I'm like, this is stupid. Yeah. I'm sitting here waiting. And then I would talk to, and that's why getting in the environment is so important, because when I was going to the office, they're like, why are you booking it that far out? Just book every hour and then double book. And I was like, double book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have
Like-
too many appointments and close than not enough and
Heck yeah.
not close anything.
Yeah. And the key is too, is like people miss the little nuance on it. It's like, sure, stack them back to back. What if you're behind? Whatever, just work it out. I assume you gave ranges. I'll be there between at say 9 o'clock. Go give me a window on either side. Most people do that. But then if you go 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, then you got over here 10 to 12. You tell that guy, dude, I'm gonna squeeze you in somewhere between 10 and 12.
Oh, they knew I was busy.
Yeah. So the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 12 o'clock, anyone not there, you got someone to go to.
Look, when I talk to, even when I'm setting up the telesales, right? If they're not ready to talk to me right then and there, I'm like, look, I got a very packed schedule, and my schedule could not be packed, but they just got to know I'm busy. Like I got a very packed schedule. And then when I book them, I'm like, hey, listen, I got an 80-year-old right before you. I'm sure it's probably going to take her a little bit longer to try to figure out how to sign. If I go past our appointment time, is it still okay for me to call you? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, all right, cool, thanks. So I got that permission that if it takes a little bit longer, I can, you know what I mean? I can still call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's good.
Yeah.
Giving away the good stuff right there.
Yeah. I remember one time I said the same thing to the same person. He was like, you told me that the last time. I was like, I know everybody that's 80 is requesting me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I didn't mean to say the same thing to the, that was a reset.
It's like part of the script.
It's part of the script.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
What do you tell the agents that are like, there's two things I'm thinking. One, how the hell can you book that many? How many leads do you get? They're like baffled that you can even book that many appointments. And then two, you get the people that are also like, they can't figure out how you manage it with like being late or being like, what if, and they have all these what ifs in their head about the schedule and in their head, the chaos of it.
Yeah.
Pick either one or both, or I'm curious how you navigate that.
Well,
or how you tell others to, because to you it's probably like no big deal. But some are like, what? That, you know, they don't want to be late to appointments, or they don't feel comfortable booking that man, whatever it is. I see a lot of like mental blocks there.
Yeah. I've never really had anybody. Well, I've probably had somebody tell me they were uncomfortable. I'm like, well, do you want to get paid? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's where success lives, being uncomfortable.
How easy.
So, and then I'll say like, hey, John, have you ever showed up? I mean, have you ever booked a doctor's appointment and didn't show up? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, that's what people are going to do to you. Now, do you want to put the numbers in your favor or not? They said they want to put the numbers in their favor. Okay, you're going to have to overbook. It's going to be uncomfortable. But guess what? I'd rather you be uncomfortable and have too many appointments and close than not have enough and not get paid. Which one makes more sense for you? And then at that point, you just have to do it. If you don't, that's on you. Right. But
so then let's go about the how you do it. Right.
Yeah.
Because it sounds good.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, dope, I'm in.
Yeah.
But I don't know how.
Yeah.
How do you navigate it?
Well, the name of the game is getting people on the phone. Right. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I just learned how to handle objections very well through just having a conversation to figure out what it is that they want very quickly.
Okay.
So I don't know.
When you say the game is getting people on the phone, talk numbers to me. How many are you trying to get on the phone? How many does it take to get that many on the phone? Like because some people are like, yeah, I got it. I called 17 people today. Right. I had someone DM me, dude. They had a problem with leads. Listen, they go, we ask these questions. I explained it to you at the workshop. When they join anything of mine, it's like, what's your biggest struggle? Leads, mentorship, we have these things, and based on what they answer, we do certain things. And one person's was leads. And I said, can you clarify? Some people are like, they don't know where to get them. Some people are like, I can't get them to pick up. Some people are like, I can't make a sale. There's all different variations that answers people get. So I asked this one, I was like, well, she goes, I'm just having trouble getting enough people on the phone. And I said, cool. How many leads do you buy? How many people do you call? Mm-hmm. And she said, I got 20 leads last month and called every one of them.
Whoa, it's not enough.
So like, that's where some people are at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how do we do this? How do we play this game the right way?
So you have to have at least 100 to 150 leads, period. And most people, when they start, like for me, the money was funny, right? So
I never heard that
It
one.
was,
The money was funny.
I started with 4 to 5 year old leads that Mike Fowle gave me. It was like a big stack. He's like, here, we'd had agents run through these, and I killed it. But yeah, 100 to 150 leads out of 50.
So 5-year-old leads. Let's stay there for a minute.
Yeah.
Like people are like, because the when you go 100, 150 leads, everyone's like, I'm in, but I ain't got the money. All right.
Cool. Yeah. Talk to your upline, talk to whoever in the business that has some, has some older leads. That's what I did. Mike Fowle had, when I say towers, and I looked at it as like gold, because I'm like, I just need a name and a number. I don't even care if you would have handed me a yellow book.
Yeah.
I did that in the last company too. Yeah. I will figure it out.
Yeah,
and I will figure it out and make something happen. I just need one person to say yes.
Yeah.
And I will take a referral to the end of time.
Sure. I think people get confused on like that they're in sales.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like prospecting is the game.
Yeah.
And like, do you think, I don't know. I watched this documentary once. It was like, I forget the title, but my version of it is The Dudes That Built America. It was like that. Like they built railroad tracks and they built banks and they built the infrastructure of our country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you think they sat around waiting for Facebook to generate some lead and send it to them before they learned how to sell banking or railroads or coal or energy or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Their shoe service, their farming goods. Dude, they got out there in the world and they talked to people.
That's true. It's too good today. It's just too good to not there's no way you can't have any activity with how great it is today with where the industry was before. Like, I remember you talked about doing paper. I did paper applications. I had to fax it in, take pictures, wait 2 weeks. I had to do that. That was weird. And then look, prior to that, it was even worse with what people had to do before I got into the industry.
Yeah,
people actually
100%.
had to go pick up the premiums. Imagine having to go pick up premiums every month and try to sell insurance at the same time. No. So we have it so easy today. There's no way you don't even have to.
And they got rich then, to be clear. They got rich then.
Yeah, they got rich then. Like, people actually retired doing that.
Yeah.
So I think about what our ancestors did and what they had to do to even get food. That's what keeps me fresh in my mind. Like, how can I ever complain about anything? Yeah. And we have it so good today.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I love it. So stacks and stacks of leads. What's the progression working on the phones? You nonstop, $1 million a day?
Smile and dialing. It's a muscle thing. Yeah. 100 to 150 leads. If you're calling like ILC leads, but even like real-time leads, you need at least 50.
Yeah.
I know with 100 to 150 ILC leads, I can book about 10 to 15 appointments, and I can do about 2 to 3 one-call closes.
Yeah. Yep.
And get referrals off of that.
It's not deep. And some people watch this that aren't with ILC. It's just a CRM. It's a CRM. You know what I mean? If you're under the Integrity umbrella, it's Integrity Lead Center, and 1 million people have access to it. But if you work somewhere else, like, dude, someone's figured it out. Yeah. You just got to ask. There's plenty of getting the leads is the easy part, to be honest. Like, people to talk to is easy.
I think it's just a work ethic. People have to, people, like, if you knew that you were going to sell 10,000 on one policy, let's just say, for an example, but you had to go through 50 no's, like, how fast would you go through them?
Correct. Yep.
But
I love it.
Yeah.
What have you learned? Give them some things on the phone, like tips that you've learned from making that many phone calls, like some big things that you teach agents now to either work on or get better at or pay attention to or whatever it is.
Yeah. I've been implementing the whole sweater thing that you did.
Did you?
Yeah. Cause it's helped some new agents sell. Because they didn't realize.
Let's see how well you can teach it right now. Let's see how well you can teach it. I'm gonna let you do it.
Okay, so let's pretend like this is like it's not script training, but you're about to start down. I want you to understand how simple it is, but you're still gonna be able to learn and earn along the way with my help, right? Yeah. So John, let's just say we were at an event, right? And I left my sweater there, it has all my information in it, and it's been a week already, and now you found my sweater and you need to get that sweater back to me. What does that phone call sound like? Let's role play.
Yeah. And I want all y'all thinking that are watching this. Like, this is my stuff, so I can play, but I'm like, you do it well. And for me, when I help people go, like, that doesn't seem complicated to do. Like, do anyone watching think they need a script to perform that process? You know what I mean? To call me and go like, yo, especially in the context of like, we don't really know each other. We know of each other maybe, right? So like when you call me, I'm not necessarily going to know it's you. Does that make sense? Like, I think that's a big key to it. Like, if you don't,
every
like,
time,
it ain't like, yo, what up, Wetmore? We don't know each other like that
at all.
Right. So it's like we just happen to be at the same spot together. So you got to get me to realize who you are and why you're calling me. Exactly. That's the magic when you're calling a lead, is like to get them to go like, just listen, just curious. Just, I want curious. Like, who? Yeah. Yeah. You mean you call me? I'm like, yeah. Like, and then you have to kind of slowly explain who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it works. You will nail the tone. You'll nail the pace. It's like wild to me. Teaching it any other way, I never learned for people how to grasp it. You know? I
struggle with that. And so that, you know, as soon as I wasn't even back yet. I missed my flight because I didn't know Atlanta was like the busiest airport ever. And so I was like, all right. I missed my flight. I got up at 4:00 in the morning and everything. And I have cleared TSA pre-check, all that. That line was long too.
Yeah, buddy.
But in between that time,
they don't play in Atlanta
at all. But I missed my flight. And so they're like, all right, well, we're going to put you on at 3:00. And I was already there that morning. So I took both my laptops and sat at Carrabba's in the airport. And I was like, y'all, I just came from the most amazing event. Y'all don't even understand. And because people were struggling on the phone, and and as soon as I did that whole analogy thing, after they did it, they were like, "Oh, it's that simple." And I was like, "Yeah." And then another thing, I think people a lot of times try to make the client their friend before the application, before the sale.
True.
I don't start asking questions and diving into them and you know, making them my friend.
So small talk you don't mess with at the beginning.
No, at the beginning, just very short, simple. Why'd you fill this out? Hey, this is what I do. Make sure you verify my credentials. Okay, perfect. So you want to leave this behind to Susan? Great. Would this be pretty hard for her to come up with if she didn't have it? Got it. I see why you filled this out. Right. And then I go through the process of, okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Some are financial, just to make sure we can find something that fits within your budget. We're not breaking the bank. Second set of questions, basic health questions. That'll help me navigate to see which one of the top 30 A-rated carriers is going to give you an approval today. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Before I pull this application up, they are going to need some personal information, which is why I sent mine up front, right? We're going to need name, address, social, and billing. Do you have access to that information so we can see if we can get you approved for the plan that we're going to leave behind to Susan when you're not here? Yes. Okay, perfect. Hey, what was your favorite football team again? Oh, yeah. What's your social? Got it. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Keep telling me about your football. Okay. Oh, but but we're laughing through the application process. When you make them do your friend too early, you never get the sale.
It's true. It's true. I like it. Y'all missed that gold. Everybody might be over this. That's where it's at. You know, and it's like if you guide people through it, this thing goes a lot smoother. You know, I think certainly there's a skill set to, once you explain it, now asking very intentional, maybe even leading questions to get where you want to go and kind of stay within the guardrails of a conversation. I think a lot of people let them go like, they let them go off the deep end. I'm curious some of the stuff that, you know, that obviously you heard me at the event share, like stuff I ain't had to say in 8 years in an actual live presentation. But like, dude, I have the way I did it to get them to navigate where I wanted to go. Like I have it down, you know? So I'm curious if you have some like, here's things that I do always that work for me to get the result I want in terms of making a sale, some questions, some concepts, whatever. I would love to hear a few of those. What up, insurance agents? If you're looking for a roadmap on how to win in this industry, check out the book I wrote about a year ago, Do More Now, Get Better Later. Check out the reviews here somewhere. My team's putting them on. I'm getting tons of great feedback about all the people it's helped. Appreciate those of y'all that have bought it. Appreciate all the reviews that are going out. If you're new to following me or the industry, check out the book and get it in your hands now.
I mean, I find out very quickly why they filled it out. They got to sell me on why we're doing this. Like, it's funny because right before our call, I had an appointment and he's like, yeah, can you just get to the point? Because I wanted him to verify my credentials. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm just doing my job. This is state protocol. You know, if you can't verify me, once we find a plan that you're looking for and I start asking for personal information, I don't want there to be any drawbacks. And he was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, just send it to me. And I'm like, did I catch you at a bad time? Because I mean, I know this is something that's important, but now I feel like I'm being rushed. And I don't want to rush something that's important to you that it's a check that you're going to leave behind to your family. And he's like, no, just go ahead. And I'm like, all right, cool. So, as I'm going through it and I asked him his height and weight, he's like, you know what, never mind. Can you just email me the information and fill it out? And I was like, well, who does that today anymore? Like, who does that? And he was like, I've done it before. And I was like, oh, you're talking about the companies that they show you on TV or the advertisements that you get in the mail. I said, if you want to wait 2 years before your policy goes into effect, then if that's what you're looking for, I'm not your girl. My job is to get you immediate coverage. Is that what you're looking for? He's like, you're telling me I'd have to wait 2 years? I'm like, yeah. And by you rushing me, I can understand now why you're trying to do this, because you have a AAA policy where your payments go up every 5 years and you didn't know that. So now we're trying to fix that problem, but I need you to understand what you're doing. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Can we move forward? And he's like, but I don't feel comfortable giving you my personal information. I said, well, how do you ever think you're going to get life insurance? I said, that information has to match the death certificate. Have you ever lost someone? Yes. Did you have to match up the social and all the information when you collected that check? Yes. I said, same process. And he was like, well, just mail it to me. And I said, if you want 1,000 pages of 30 different companies that you'll never read, I don't know what to send to you. We haven't even got you approved yet. I'm not interested. Have a great day. Everyone is not your client. I need to find out very quickly. You need to sell me on why we're doing this. And they'll give you every excuse in the book. But once I handle 3 objections, I'm out.
Oh, I like it. That's your guardrails right there.
Yeah. After 3, I'm not trying to convince.
You're quitting them before they quit. You ain't even getting to think about it.
Yeah. So when they say they think about it, hey, John, if you knew when you were going to pass away, the day and the time, would you still say that today? No. Okay. So you either thinking about my credentials or you're thinking about the price. Which one is it? Because I can fix both. And they're like, what's the price? No problem. Let's take it down a little bit. I'll be your personal broker. We can always add on more coverage in the future. Let's look at the bronze option. Make sense? Sense made. Something's better than nothing. Do you agree? Absolutely. If it's a credential, great. I can show you a picture of my big toe. I can send my driver's license. Which one you want? Men like feet,
Some people are gonna be like, there ain't no way she does this shit.
I'm just trying to have fun with it. Like, you want me to send you a picture of my big toe? You want my driver's license? I got a passport and birth certificate. Which one? We can even jump on a Zoom. I'm here to help you. Because guess what, John? I'm the one that's going to have to step on the insurance company's neck to get the check to your daughter, or they can just call a 1-800 number and try to figure it out. Which one would you like?
Yep.
We only got 1 or 2 options.
I ain't got nothing to add to none of that.
I'm just finding out. And then I use their beneficiary throughout and why they're doing it throughout the entire appointment. Like, okay, great. Like, does your beneficiary does Susan live out of state or does she live in state? Out of state, okay. Did you ever think about factoring in, the additional cost that it would take for her to have to step away from work, maybe find childcare, or maybe even to try to get on a plane to get to you? I never thought about it. Yeah, you know how much that costs? It's very expensive. We're going to add on another 10 or 20,000 just so she can be comfortable enough to maybe take off work a little bit, spend a few days and take care of all your final arrangements. Does that make sense? I'm adding value.
Yeah.
Right. And then even like I turn vet leads, final expense leads, I turn those into mortgage protection. Do you rent or do you have a mortgage? Okay. What do you want to happen to the mortgage when you're not here? You want them to sell it? You want them to take it over? And so I'm just constantly adding value, but I continuously, and then at the end, if I'm still getting pushback, I always say like, no, well, in the beginning, I'll say, hey, John, as we go through this process here, I just want you to 1,000% think about Susan. Any decision that you make today, everything that we're doing today, I want you to think about Susan. So any decision that you make, any answer that you give me, that's the person who's going to have to benefit, whether she has this or she doesn't have this. And if she doesn't, what does that picture look like?
Yep.
Very
That's
quick.
Dope. That's dope. I love it. I bet your stuff stays in the books too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people be pushing them and breaking their neck to get them to say yes. And that stuff, I guess that makes, what's they say? That makes the money funny.
Yeah, it does. I struggle to have to, like, they don't realize how busy I am. And they're just like, at the end of the sale, they're like, just let's touch bases every week. No. No. They want to be my friend. And I get it. It's cool. We're cool, right? But I'm busy.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't add nothing to none of that. That was badass. It's good stuff. Y'all try it. Try it. Stuff works. But it's also part of your natural personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So take these concepts. If y'all like that, do you take the concepts? You know what I mean? There's ways to take control and be intentional and word things right. No matter what our personalities align a lot. I was a lot like that, you know, and I can do it with sarcasm and I can be direct and laugh a little bit and they cut up. They find it funny because no one talks. Most people don't communicate that way.
No.
So I found it super relieving because I could just be me. Yeah. And they were like, oh, he just wants to help. Like, can we cut the BS, please? Yeah. Like, cut it out.
Yes.
You know, and it worked well for me too. Kind of taking that direct approach. And
I got tired of not getting paid and trying to figure it out. Like, because it took me like 3 weeks to figure out telesales. And I had to, because I don't know if I mentioned that to you. I was doing a 75 hard, 14 days in, I was diagnosed with arthritis and I had a cane. Like, my cane is still downstairs, just to remind me. Yeah. So I was like, I couldn't fit none of my shoes. Like, I was dealing with so many things. And I was like, I got to figure out how to do this from home. And at the time, the company was like, they were flirting with telesales.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is why being in the environment is important, whether it's showing up to an office or being on Zoom. Because had I not been on Zoom and I'm trying to figure this out myself, I wouldn't have had one of the leaders like, hey, you're not closing people on the phone? And I was like, no. And they were like, have you ever heard of a one-call close? I was like, you mean to tell me you can actually get somebody on the phone and close them like right then and there? And he was like, yeah, you've never done that? You never heard of that before? I was like, no. I thought, because what I was doing was I was booking 20 appointments or more for telesales, getting them on the phone, but I couldn't get them back on the phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are people, like, how are they doing this? Yeah. He gave me the script. The first, I didn't even read the script. I just was like, I'm not reading all of this. I'm just gonna do it as I make the phone calls to just be uncomfortable as heck. I closed, one call closed, the first person I called using the script. And I was like, oh my gosh, game over. Oh, I'm closing people as soon as I get them on the phone now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What was I remember what's funny is, like, you remember the evolution of this whole thing. There was a stage where you couldn't close over the phone. Like, it physically wasn't an option. And then they came out with, I remember when they came out with, like, DocuSign became a thing. And it's like, I was doing one call closes before they were cool, just because it was an option sometimes. I remember the first couple, dude, it was like, people were like, looked at me like I was an alien. And I'm like, it's just people. I just ask the same questions. I just don't hang up the phone.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But what do you think? What did you learn? Because you said you had to learn it. Took you a few weeks to figure it out. Give them like, what were you missing? Like, why do people see it as so different from field sales to phone sales? Or what's the magic in your eyes to, like, get them to stay on the phone, get them to close it, and you know what I mean? Like, what did you have to learn in that 3 weeks that you didn't already know, or were you just overthinking it?
I was just overthinking it. It was really just me in my own way and my own anxiety of thinking what was going to happen that never happened.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Like, if y'all didn't see her stunned ass face, like, why are you asking me this stupid question? That question was for y'all. That was not for me. I don't understand why people think it's different. I can't wrap my head around it. Someone asked me this week when they're about coming to the event. They're like, but do you train on telesales and one call closes? I'm like, what?
And it's usually the people who ask so many questions that they don't ever put the work in to see if it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They ask the question before it happens. And so that's what I was doing to myself. No one knew, but in my mind, I'm like, I remember laying on my couch one day because I was just like so upset with like, I booked so many appointments and no one answered. And I was like, I gotta be doing something wrong. Something has to, it has to be a way.
Getting back the second time's harder. That's what's funny is a lot of people are like, well, it's different. You have to build trust on the phone and the credentials and da-da. I'm like, yo, I was going into strangers' houses.
Yeah.
What do you think building trust and credentials like when they open their front door and let you in?
Yeah.
That was way harder.
I mean, COVID, I was like, all right. And I had a talk with myself because this is a whole mindset thing. Because people were so worried about it. And I get it, right? COVID was a big deal. People died, all this stuff. I get it, right? But I'm not afraid of dying. And if I am, and when I do, I'm going out with a bang. No one can ever say Karyn sat there and waited. So I put a chair in my trunk. I packed my lunch because at 7-Elevens, they have microwaves, FYI, if you're in the field. I would cook my food to save money so I wasn't spending money on fast foods. And I kept a cooler in my car. And so I would leave like an hour window just to drive to 7-Eleven, heat up my food, eat lunch, and then go to my next appointment. But I would keep a chair or, in the trunk because people didn't want me in their home because it was COVID. So I would have a mask on and I'm like, great, not a problem. What most of my clients do is they show me their ID through a window, screen door, whatever feels comfortable for you. Once you verify me and you show me yours too, I can actually sit on your porch or I can go, in your front yard, whichever one makes more sense. I'll sit in my chair and we'll complete the application from there. You can see me, I can see you, you can sign by your email and we get this thing done.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, cool. Or guess what? I'm in their home and we're 6 feet apart with my mask on. And I had a mask. I don't know if you knew this, John. I had a mask that lights up. So every time I close a sale, it said Aetna. I lie to you not.
Oh, that's funny.
I got to send you the photo. I got to send you the photo. But and the clients loved it because I can control it from my phone.
Yeah.
And I would walk in and like it would say protected at first. And so they're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I'm here to protect you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Creative.
I got a lot of sales that way. That was that purple elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That was good. Hey, this was good stuff, dude. I appreciate you sharing. What we'll end on like where are you at now in the business? What are you trying to accomplish? Like where are you stuck? Like what are you battling now? Like where are we trying to go? We don't need a long one because I know it's a lot. I've been there. But you know what I mean? Like I just want people to understand too is like this thing is a journey.
Yeah.
That journey people think it gets easier. And I'm like, well, having more money's dope, but it don't make the journey easier. I promise you. So it's like you got to learn how to get through hard shit.
Yeah.
Because it keeps coming.
Yeah.
So just kind of curious where you're at now with that.
One thing I've always known is people equals freedom. Right. And so I'm always learning to get better with people.
Yeah.
And time management, how much time I spend with certain people who I need to spend time with. I think you and I had some conversations about that.
Sure.
I've spent a lot of time with the wrong people and I let a lot of people stay longer than they should on advance.
Yep. Makes sense.
So I'm always learning in that department. I'm much more intentional about, who I'm bringing into the business, what I'm looking for, what I want, asking better questions, relating it to, like you said, to sales. Like if, I'm learning to use that same concept with people. And
it's crazy. You just spent 45 minutes training on that.
Yep. But why can't I just transfer that
into
how I deal with people and finding out how quickly they want what they want and how quickly I can help you get it.
That's it. That's the magic. Yep. Does that make sense?
It does.
And it's like, and that's what the stuff we're going to be talking about. It's like, how do we get there? There's word tracks. There's ways to do it. There's the sweaters, the jacket, I got stuff in my bag that I'm like, you just can this is the stuff. It works the
Thank
same,
you.
but the concept is the same. You know, so you just got to learn the stuff at the next level. That's it. I'm doing that just at another level still to this day. I'm just trying to figure shit out. And I'm like, it makes my brain hurt. But there are people that already know how to do it. And I'm like, yo, hey, can I pay you to help me do it?
Yeah.
Like that process stays.
Yep.
You know? So I love watching you figure this thing out. And
I love being plugged in. I had no expectations.
Yeah.
What drew me was effort and get paid. And I was like, and then you've always had the business that I want. Like, it's just a lot of the stuff is just similarities there. So I was like gravitated towards that. And it just felt right. And so I had no expectations. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna learn, but I know I need to get in the room. I need to get around some leader. I need to figure this, figure it out. And just the amount of information you provided, and just hearing everybody. And also too, you hear that other people go through stuff too. Everybody goes through like similar things, sales, recruiting, different things. And you just kind of learn from everybody. And I can't wait until June because I'm bringing some people with me.
Dude, we might have to mess around and start doing it more often. I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like, what do people want? I'm here. Like, I love doing it. That part's easy for me to teach and hang with people and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't know, I'll throw it out there, see if people like it. And I'm like, oh shit, they love it. We might have to do more of them. Yeah. So we're gonna keep expanding that thing. And my goal is to just help people get paid. That's why I do this. That's why I do everything I do, is like, just let me help people get paid. And you worded it much more eloquently, but I ain't confused that I always continue to do better in business the more I help people get paid. Yeah. You know what I mean, that people, his freedom thing. I'm like, I like that. That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing. I know we'll chat in a couple. I don't remember. We're later this afternoon.
Yeah,
we'll dive a little deeper.
Yeah.
So I got my next one to roll to. Appreciate your time.
Thanks
for sharing. We'll if you want them to follow your stuff, just send it to my team. We'll put it in the links and all that jazz.
Okay.
They probably already reached out to you for that, but yeah, just let me know if y'all. She ain't hard to find. She's all over everywhere. Just type her name in. You'll get her. So appreciate you sharing, girl.
Appreciate you too. Thank you.
Right.
Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching the latest episode. I appreciate you. If you will do me a favor, certainly like this video channel, subscribe to it. And if you wouldn't mind, whatever podcast network you listen to these on, if you wouldn't mind going and leaving a review, that will help me greatly get the word out to more and more people. Appreciate you.